Steph, how would you describe what went on in the fourth quarter for you guys?
There's a point where we started missing shots, and that started to affect our defense because we played great defense for 36 minutes and gave ourselves a huge lead and great momentum. Really felt like we had the game under control. For whatever reason, our energy switched when, you miss a couple shots, empty possessions. They come down and score, start to get deflated for, no reason really because we still had, a sizable lead. But then you start to play against half-court defenses and can't stop the avalanche. So, obviously, that's 2 home games in a row where it's been a rough, fourth quarter for us. So we got to figure out how to maintain our energy even if shots aren't falling, because that's what it might be like in a playoff game where you got to grind out a win and – a team on the other side, they have a little bit of life to take advantage of it. So, like to say it's a good lesson to learn, even though it sucks to have to go through it.
Would you say is kind of like the defining issue of this game for you guys? I don't know if it's fouling, rebounding, whatever.
No, just that. Like, we played 36 great minutes and gave ourselves a 21-point lead, 19, I think, going into the fourth, and or whatever it was, and that's what in the league as a good team that should be enough to just get enough stops in the fourth quarter where you don't have to win the game twice. We didn't do that.
You went 8.5 minutes without making a shot, the whole team. What within that pocket do you feel like was the offensive problem?
I think we got some pretty decent looks. They were blitzing, so we got some 4-on-3 situations. Didn't fall. Like I said, it's one of those things where, for whatever reason, the energy just got zapped, on the other end. And, they start to pick up life, which then in turn their defensive energy picks up because they feel like they have a chance. I don't think we had too many turnovers, so it was just, missing shots. And then, that affected both sides of the ball. You can't have that happen.
Stephen, how do you guys, the vets obviously go through this, but how do you keep the young guys from this not getting into their minds that, you lose back-to-back home games, fourth quarter collapses? How do you make sure that doesn't become a mental thing for the youngsters?
We've all, the older guys, we've all been through it. And it's just reps you have to choose to stay confident in your abilities, even if, rotations are changing. You might not be living up to the expectations that you put on yourselves or how you're supposed to play. And you got to be able to choose confidence and be intentional about that every game. There's no secret sauce, no magic wand. It's just you have to go through it and kind of man up and understand this is the most important part of our season. And if you have if you get out there, you got to impact the game, bring good energy. And that's everybody. It's not just the young guys, but bring good energy, bring attention to detail on the little things that help you win games. Defensive energy, no matter if you're making shots or missing shots. You just got to go through it. And whoever's going to be out there, playoff rotation, that should be the expectation. So, we don't want to feel like we do right now and have, these last 2 games at home.
Stephen, along those lines, Steve said maybe this is, can turn into a positive because the playoff games can be like this where another team is never out of it, so to speak. Can you turn this into a good learning example?
Yeah, we can, but it's not going to happen just on its own. So you have to bring an intention to that. So whatever that means for us individually, we got to be able to do that, and it helps the group. So, next game we go out, we have we'll be on the road, obviously. A team, we lost 2 up there last time we went up there. Got to bring an edge, sustain that over 48. And each game will have an opportunity to do that. to turn it into a positive and try to build momentum. But like I said, it's not going to happen on its own just because coach says it or because we want it to. We got to go do it.
Steph, one of the trade acquisitions that didn't get a lot of attention was Dinwiddie going to Dallas. What did you think of that move? And if healthy, what kind of player can he be for them?
I mean, what he did tonight, this is pretty impressive. Very efficient game for him. Made some big shots. Gave them some life when Luka was on the bench. So it was I'd say he won the game for him because they had a lot of guys play well, but he definitely made a difference with, his big moments, and he's got the game to do it. I'm pretty sure he's excited about a new start.
You said that you guys have to keep the energy up late in the fourth quarter. What are the keys to sustaining that energy?
Just a matter of understanding, like, winning time, it gets harder, and you got to embrace the challenge. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you're making or missing shots. Like, rarely in a game, like in games that matter in the playoffs, are you just going to, play perfect offense and outscore your opponent every night and just going to be high from all over the court. Like, game slows down a little bit. It's just the grit and the determination to sustain that level of play, no matter what the lead is, no matter what the situation is. So it's got to be a collective effort, and everybody has to do their part, and that's what makes a great team. And if we want to be a great team, we're going to do that.
Steph, we've seen two teams kind of like know what they want to do in the fourth quarter. Denver went to Jokic and Luka. Is that something you guys have figured out yet, like fourth quarter offense when it's harder, or is that tough because you just haven't had the lineup to kind of work on that yet?
It's an interesting question because it's tough because, we've had different closing groups, especially since Clay's been back. We've had a couple of games where we ran some stuff between me and him. We put Wiggs in certain situations and make plays. JP's finished a couple games for us. So it has been kind of all over the place just because out of necessity, because we've had, different lineups. But I don't know. I'm going to look at the film, especially like tonight, because I feel like we still got good shots. For the most part, we just didn't make them. And then the air kind of came out the balloon. But I feel like we were pretty, aggressive, but just didn't have anything to show for it at the end. And like you said, they did. So I guess out of necessity, it's been a little all over the place just in terms of what we're trying to do. But hopefully as we get guys back and have a consistent stretch of games where we know what the look is, we'll figure that out.
Steph, you guys have leaned on your depth a lot this year and gotten a lot of good play from the bench. Tonight, the plus-minus numbers weren't very good when the bench players came in. Some of that's obviously Dinwiddie. But what did you see different tonight? Did they sort of get deflated when the shots weren't falling? Or can you talk a little bit about sort of the reserves and their role?
Yeah, we all did. Because, the first three quarters, like, even though, I don't know, like plus minus looks like it does, but we still had good energy. We still were getting a couple stops, turning it into transition, like still had control of the game. And then all of a sudden, you're in a situation again where you just focus on one side of the ball and you forget what got you the league in the first place. And we all had to go through that. So we'll hold each other accountable, I guess, to what that looks like when you don't ever want to be a front-running team when things are going well. Everybody's hyped over the bench, jumping up and down, and when it's not going our way, everybody looks like zombies out there. So we got to figure out what that looks like collectively. No matter how many minutes you get, no matter what you're asked to do on any given night.
Steph, because Jordan a lot of times comes in for you, basically. And he's got the ball in his hands. He's being asked to score, to lead a unit. And sometimes the ball's not going in and it looks bad. Do you empathize maybe more a little bit with him? Do you understand some of this that maybe he's going through the last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, he's been asked to do a lot of different things this year, and he's still, coming into his own as an experienced player that has had some success, has had some, some struggles, but honestly, he just making sure he's engaged. That's the biggest thing. Like, no matter, again, if he's making shots or not, or how many minutes he's playing, just making sure he's engaged on both ends, because he's going to help us. He's going to help us win games when it matters. And, for him to be who he wants to be in this league, I think he has to have a little bit of versatility in terms of being able to play, different styles and, sometimes start, sometimes off the bench, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes 15. Like, you got to be able to, be yourself through all of those kind of situations. At some point we all kind of go through that. So I think he's built for it, and he's going to have something to show for it.
Steph, do you follow the standings at all? And with Chris Paul being out, you guys got an opportunity to get some games on Phoenix, and so to make tonight even tougher when they lose and you guys lose, knowing you could have caught up some ground.
It's all perspective. Like, yeah, we'd love to have the 1 seed, and it'd be dumb to say we wouldn't, but I don't think we're in a position where we can look at anything other than us just trying to win games at this point and how we're playing and being consistent with that. If that means we get hot and go on a run to finish the year and close the gap, that'd be great. Personally, I feel like we're confident we can go win a series on the road if that's what it takes to, come out the West at the end of the day. But we got a lot of work to do before we can even start, thinking about that. And for us, is got to have some tunnel vision on like what we need to do to be our best selves, these last 21 games, because we haven't done that consistently enough as of late.